We've all encountered them. The ones who demand the spotlight, twist reality, and somehow make everything, every moment, every breath about them. And if you've ever found yourself exhausted, doubting your own reality, or rehearsing conversations that should have gone differently, you're not alone. So what do? How do we shift from being their emotional supply to reclaiming our power? We don't fight them. We don't fix them. Instead, we torture them in ways they never see coming. If you really want to make a narcissist squirm, don't argue, don't defend, don't engage. Just let them stew in the silence of your indifference. See, a narcissist thrives on attention. Good, bad, chaotic, dramatic. It doesn't matter. They don't care if you're loving them or hating them, as long as they are the focal point of your emotional energy. To them, every reaction is a victory. Every ounce of frustration, every defensive explanation, every desperate plea for them to see your side, it's all fuel for their fire. So what happens when you take that fuel away? What happens when they throw their usual manipulation tactics at you? Gaslighting, guilt-tripping, blame-shifting, and you don't react the way they expect. What happens when you shrug instead of argue, when you nod instead of defend, when you say okay instead of justifying yourself? They panic. Narcissists expect a reaction because that's how they control the game. The moment you stop playing, they don't know what to do with themselves. They'll try harder, they'll push buttons, they'll say something designed to hurt you, to trigger you, to get you to break the silence and feed them your energy again. And when you don't, when you refuse to give them what they crave, that's torture. They might lash out even more at first. They might try to provoke you by picking fights, making passive-aggressive comments, or spreading lies about you just to get you to react. But if you stay grounded, if you remain indifferent, the power dynamic shifts. Slowly, they start realizing that you're no longer a source of supply. You're no longer reacting the way they need you to. And that's when something incredible happens. They start losing interest in you. Because without your emotional energy to feed on, they starve. So the next time a narcissist tries to bait you, picture this: you, calm as ever, sipping your coffee, scrolling through your phone, nodding along like you couldn't care less, and them squirming, frustrated, powerless, because indifference isn't just kryptonite, it's liberation. Narcissists hate boundaries. They see them as walls meant to keep them out, and nothing enrages them more than feeling like they don't have unrestricted access to your emotions, your time, and your life. That's because boundaries are about control, and narcissists crave control over you. They manipulate, guilt trip, and push limits, all in an attempt to see just how much they can get away with. The more you let slide, the more they take. The more you justify, the more they argue. The more you explain, the more they twist your words. But here's the hard truth. You don't owe a narcissist access to your life. You don't owe them explanations. You don't owe them endless chances. And most importantly, you don't owe them a version of yourself that bends just to keep the peace. The art of a firm boundary, a real boundary, isn't just something you say, it's something you enforce. It's a line drawn in stone, not sand. And enforcing it, that's where the real challenge comes in. Narcissists will test your boundaries like a child testing the limits of a parent's patience. They'll try to manipulate you into making exceptions. They'll act confused. I don't understand why you're being so difficult. They'll guilt trip you. I thought we were closer than this. I guess I was wrong. They'll even get angry. Wow, so this is the kind of person you are now? The trick is standing firm, no justifications, no backpedaling, no endless explanations. A boundary isn't a debate. You don't need to convince them it's necessary. You don't need their approval what this looks like in action. If they keep calling you late at night after you've asked them not to, stop answering. No warnings, no explanations, just silence. If they try to make you feel guilty for saying no, hold your ground. A simple, I've already made my decision is enough. If they push past emotional boundaries, mocking you, gaslighting you, invalidating your feelings, walk away. Refuse to engage in a conversation that disrespects you. Because here's the thing. A narcissist's worst nightmare is a person who is no longer emotionally available for manipulation. When you set a boundary and actually stick to it, they realize they can't control you the way they used to. And when a narcissist loses control, they unravel. Boundaries without fear. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear the narcissist's reaction. They worry about the silent treatment, the tantrums, the smear campaigns. And honestly, those things might happen. But that's proof the boundary is working, because a narcissist only reacts that strongly when they realize their usual tactics aren't working anymore. They're scrambling, they're panicking, and that means you're winning. So set boundaries, enforce them, watch them squirm, because a fortress doesn't apologize for having walls. And neither should you. If you ever want to see a narcissist mask crack, just for a second, try this. Compliment someone else in their presence. Not just any compliment, though. Make it warm, make it enthusiastic, and most importantly, make it public. Narcissists live for validation. They need to be the most admired, the most talented, the most desirable person in any room. Their entire identity is built on the idea that they are special, above others, superior, the main event. So when someone else gets the spotlight, even for a moment, it feels like a direct attack on their ego. Why this works, a narcissist can't stand seeing others praised because it disrupts their internal narrative. In their mind, they are the only one who truly deserves recognition. If someone else is receiving attention, admiration, or appreciation, the narcissist interprets it as a personal loss. And the worst part for them, they can't control it. They can manipulate conversations, twist facts, and gaslight their way out of accountability, but they can't stop someone from being publicly acknowledged. They can't erase the moment when someone else shines, and that burns. How to do this effectively? Give specific compliments. Instead of a vague, good job, say something like, I love how creative your approach was. That was brilliant. The more heartfelt and detailed, the more powerful the impact. Make sure the narcissist hears it. Say it in a meeting, at a dinner table, in a group chat, anywhere they can't ignore it. Praise people they look down on. This is where the real torture happens. If a narcissist sees someone as beneath them, and you openly admire that person, their ego takes a massive hit. They will struggle to reconcile their superiority complex with the reality that others see value in someone they deem unworthy. Stay neutral when they react. They might try to dismiss your praise. Oh, anyone could have done that. I guess it was okay, but I've seen better. Yeah, but remember when I did something similar? Your response, smile, and move on. Don't engage in their attempt to shift the focus back to themselves. Their reaction, the ego meltdown. At first, they'll try to act like they don't care, but watch closely. The tight jaw, the forced smile, the sudden shift in mood, it's all there. If they're especially insecure, they might immediately try to one-up the person you praised. Maybe they interrupt with a story about their own success. Maybe they suddenly become the loudest voice in the room. Maybe they downplay the other person's accomplishment in a passive-aggressive way. That's when you double down. Keep the focus on the person you're praising. Keep the admiration going. Let the narcissist sit with the discomfort of not being the center of attention, because nothing tortures them more than realizing the world does not revolve around them. And nothing feels better than knowing you are no longer playing their game. A narcissist's greatest trick is convincing you that your reality isn't real. They rewrite history, twist events, and make you question your own memories. If you've ever thought, maybe I am overreacting, or maybe it wasn't that bad, chances are you've been caught in their web of manipulation. But here's the thing, your story is yours. Your experiences, your emotions, your truth. It all belongs to you. And the moment you stop letting a narcissist edit, erase, or distort it, that's the moment you take your power back. How narcissists rewrite reality? A narcissist will never admit they were wrong. Instead, they'll manipulate the narrative until they come out looking like the victim or the hero. Their version of events is always designed to protect their ego. That means they downplay their wrongdoing. I never said that. You're exaggerating. You're too sensitive. They shift blame onto you. If you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have reacted that way. You always take things the wrong way. They discredit your memory. That's not what happened at all. You always remember things in the worst possible way. Over time, this constant gaslighting chips away at your confidence. You start questioning yourself. You replay conversations in your head. You wonder if you're actually the problem. And that's exactly what they want, because the more uncertain you are, the more control they have. Taking back your story, owning your story means standing firm in your truth without seeking their approval, without needing them to validate your feelings, and without letting them twist the facts. Trust your memory. If you remember something a certain way, believe yourself. Write things down if you need to. Keep voice memos. Document interactions. Your memory is not the enemy they are. Stop explaining yourself. A narcissist will try to drag you into endless debates about what really happened. Don't play that game. You don't need to prove your experience to someone who is committed to denying it. A simple, I know what I remember is enough. Refuse to let them control the narrative they might try to tell others a different version of events, painting themselves as the innocent party. Don't waste your energy trying to correct them. The people who matter will see the truth over time. Release the need for closure. The hardest part, accepting that they will never admit what they did. Narcissists don't give closure because that would require accountability. The closure you seek comes from knowing the truth for yourself. Their reaction, losing their grip on you. When a narcissist realizes they can no longer gaslight you, they panic. They might double down, trying to manipulate you even harder. They might play the victim, accusing you of rewriting history. They might even try to win you back with fake apologies, hoping you'll let them back into your head. Stay firm, keep your boundaries, keep your story. Because the biggest torture for a narcissist isn't being exposed, it's knowing they can no longer control how you see the truth. If there's one thing a narcissist thrives on, it's control, but not just any control. They want control over your emotions, your thoughts, and most importantly, your reactions. They want you constantly explaining yourself, defending your choices, proving your worth. Why? Because the more time and energy you spend justifying yourself to them, the more power they have over you. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for being who you are. The moment you stop justifying yourself, you take back control. Why narcissists demand justification? Narcissists have a way of making you feel like you're always on trial. Every decision you make, every boundary you set, every time you say no, they demand an explanation. And they don't do this out of curiosity or genuine concern. They do it to wear you down, to poke holes in your reasoning, and to make you second guess yourself. It usually plays out like this. You set a boundary. I don't feel comfortable discussing that with you. Their response? Why not? What's the big deal? You're acting weird. You make a decision for yourself. I'm not going to the event this weekend. Their response, but why? You always do this. People are going to think you're rude. You express an opinion they don't like. I really enjoyed that movie. Their response, seriously? That movie was trash. Explain to me how you could possibly think that was good. See the pattern? They aren't looking for a real conversation. They're looking for a way to undermine you, to get you tangled in an argument where they can twist your words and make you doubt yourself. The power of not engaging, the best way to stop this cycle, refuse to justify yourself. You don't need to explain why you set a boundary. You don't need to defend your choices. You don't need to prove that your feelings are valid. The more you justify, the more ammunition you give them to pick apart your reasoning. Here's what it looks like in action. Instead of saying, I just don't feel like going because I'm tired and I've had a long week, and say, I'm not going. End of discussion. Instead of saying, I don't want to talk about this because it makes me uncomfortable and I feel like, say, I'm not discussing this. Instead of saying, I made that choice because I thought about it carefully and based on my past experiences, say, that's my decision. Narcissists hate this. They need you to keep talking because that's how they manipulate the conversation. The moment you cut off their ability to pull you into endless debates, they lose control. Expect the pushback. A narcissist won't accept your refusal to engage without a fight. They'll act offended. They'll accuse you of being rude, cold, or dismissive. They'll try to guilt trip you into defending yourself again. Wow, so you don't even care enough to explain yourself? I guess I just don't matter to you then. You're being so stubborn for no reason. They're testing you. They're seeing if they can crack you, if they can push just hard enough to make you fold. Stay strong and watch them unravel. The more you refuse to justify yourself, the more uncomfortable they become. They might get angry. They might sulk. They might even resort to the silent treatment, hoping you'll come running back with an explanation. Don't. Let them sit in their frustration. Let them wrestle with the fact that they no longer have control over how you respond. Because that's the real torture for a narcissist, realizing that their tricks don't work on you anymore. And the best part, the moment you stop justifying yourself is the moment you finally step into your own power. Nothing torments a narcissist more than seeing someone they underestimated, controlled, or tried to tear down rise above them without even acknowledging their existence. When you glow up, whether emotionally, mentally, physically, or professionally, without rubbing it in their face, it drives them insane. Why? Because narcissists need to feel superior. They survive by believing that they are better, more important, and more successful than the people around them. The moment you start thriving, especially after they've tried to break you, their entire illusion of control crumbles. But here's the real kicker. The most powerful glow up isn't the one you broadcast. It's the one you live. Why a silent glow up hurts them the most. A narcissist expects you to remain stuck. They expect you to linger in pain, to crave their validation, to seek their approval. If they discarded you, they assume you're lost without them. If you left them, they expect you to regret it. If they try to destroy your confidence, they assume their words still echo in your mind. But when you heal, grow, and evolve, and do it all without needing to prove anything to them, it shakes them to their core. They're waiting for a sign that you're still affected by them. They want you to post something cryptic, to show off your success as a way of seeking revenge, to make it clear that you're trying to make them jealous. But when you simply glow up in peace, no drama, no showboating, no desperate attempts to be seen, they have no way to insert themselves into your story, and that to a narcissist is pure torture. How to glow up without engaging, heal, and private work on yourself, emotionally, mentally, and physically, not for them, but for you. Therapy, self-reflection, fitness, financial growth.